Sorry. All right, looks like we're live. All right, today we're going to compare silicone oil for fluid acrylic paint pouring. So there is lots of options for silicone oil, and you do not have to have silicone oil if you are going to paint pour. You can go without if you're not wanting the cells. The cells are the little round spots in a fluid acrylic. Example. So like those little, that's how we get those cells is with silicone. And you can actually achieve cells without silicone, but that's a little bit more advanced. But so we'll talk about that later on, probably in 6-7 weeks, we'll talk about getting cells without silicone, but that's a little bit more advanced. So we're going to talk about all kinds of silicones. I have several different choices, but first off, how is everyone doing? How was your week? I hope it was well. We did get lots of snow. It's been quite exciting, and we still have quite a bit of snow in the yard, but all the roads are good. But yeah, how was everyone else? So first off, I'm going to talk about the Spot On treadmill oil. So this is the first bottle I've ever bought. So you can see it's getting down a little bit low, but less is more with silicone. That is like the key. So you can see that, I mean, I've used this same bottle for like 5 years, and it's gotten me, that's how much it'll last. It'll last, you need just a drop at a time. But since I have gotten low, I went to go get more off of Amazon. That's where I've gotten this one, and it's 100% silicone. And I've mixed up a bunch of paints. None of these have silicone. The paints I've mixed up have silicone in them so far. We're gonna test out some of these silicones. So this is the new one I just got, and this is from Spot On. But when I went to get new of the treadmill oil on Amazon, this is what now they have. So that was kind of cool, but it's the same exact thing, just 100% silicone. But what was cool with that is it comes with a little, so you can precisely, it comes with, so that's kind of, and it comes with the regular top as well. And it's a little bit larger of a container of it. And this was like, I believe about $13 on Amazon, but it's Spot On, and you can get the treadmill oil or the pouring oil, but I liked that it had the needle precision applicator. I'm going to try that out, but I haven't opened this yet. But it's the same thing, just 100% silicone oil. So yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of colors mixed up, all ready to go with no silicone in them yet. And we're going to test each of these out, a few different techniques. I also have the Artist Loft silicone oil, and Artist Loft is a Michaels brand. And this will be actually the first time I've ever tried this. I've never tried the Artist Loft one. You can also use dimethicone. So you can use silicone, and you can use dimethicone. And so this is Nourishing Plus. It's OGX brand, but it's a coconut milk anti-breakage serum. And this is the one you would want if you're going to use this in pores. People use this sometimes to achieve cells in pores. And so you either need a silicone or a dimethicone. And there's lots and lots and lots of products on the market. I just have a couple of examples. Hi, Janice, how are you doing? How was your week? We did get a lot of snow here. We ended up getting about 20 inches. So they've got dimethicone in a lot of different, but this is the coconut milk hair serum that some people use for this, and you only need a drop or two. You need very little of it. And I don't always put it in all my colors. I'll explain in a little bit kind of my strategy of what colors I choose to put it in and such. But and not for all techniques. Say like a tree ring pour, sometimes you may want cells, but usually a tree ring pour, to get nice definition of rings, you're not going to want to have any silicone or dimethicone. You're not going to want the cells for like certain techniques. It just depends on the technique you're going to do. So today we've got a bunch of the ceramic tiles. We've got some 6-inch, some 4-inch, and we're going to use a bunch of those to test out a few different ones, a few different techniques. I'm going to show you some tips about the silicone. All is good there. Oh, good, good. All is good here as well. Yeah, we ended up with about 20 inches. We still have some in the yard, but it's all cleared off the road. But last Thursday, I had my live stream. As soon as I got off my live stream, it just dumped snow from then on till, was it Saturday evening or when did it stop snowing? I think about Saturday in the night, I think it stopped snowing. But so, yeah, we got quite a bit. So it was fun. It was nice. And we were all prepared. We just stayed home and enjoyed it. So another one that's an aerosol. Oh, real quick, I get this at Walmart. That's where I get this. This one at Michael's. And then the 2 spot-on ones I get on Amazon. This is another one you can get at Walmart. This is CRC Heavy Duty Silicone. It's back kind of in the automotive department. And so this is an aerosol one. And there's a couple of different ways you can use this one. So in just a moment, I'm going to show you like 3 different ways you can use this one. Now, I've used several different like the aerosol, different like WD-40, different ones. Honestly, this is my favorite one, and this is a much cheaper one than some of the different options. So this is my favorite as for the like automotive aerosol sprays. There's actually a few options. I know other people have done other videos on different ones, but that's the one I like the most. And then I have used this one. Honestly, okay, this one works and it will work for you, but it comes out a lot of it. And the cells that I have achieved with this, once they go to dry, they kind of lose their definition. Like you'll have some nice, beautiful round cells with maybe even a couple of colors popping up through, and they'll just kind of web out and lose their definition. So if you're going for that look, where it kind of does web out and lose like the real round cells, that works. But I'm not always going for that look, so I personally did not like this option, but it does work. Again, we got it at Walmart. So I'm going to set this one aside because I'm not even going to really show you this one today. It achieves nice, beautiful cells, but within an hour or two, it looks different. So it would look much different later on after the live stream. So we're not even going to use that one, but I'm going to set that one aside. And so first we're going to use the aerosol. And so early Sunday morning it stopped. So yeah, it snowed from Thursday afternoon, or right around when I did my live stream on Thursday afternoon until early Sunday morning. So that was a lot of snow. So first we're going to use this one. The reason I'm going to first use this one is I don't want to use some of these other ones and have them sitting here, because as soon as I use this one, it's going to get on every pore around me. So I'm going to use this one first, and before I have any other pores done. You don't want to use this when you have, any sort of pores anywhere around you. Within like a 6-foot radius, because it gets in the air and it'll get around. So also, if you think about it, it gets in the air to get on pores all around you. You might want to use this one with a little bit, caution, having good airflow in the room and stuff. So you're not, because this is, it has a little bit of a smell to it. But so right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a couple of these tiles back, because I don't even want it to get on the blank tiles, because then when I go to do another pour in just a minute, I might have a hard time accepting that paint because it's got silicone on it. So I'm just going to set those aside real quick. I think it would be good if we just, I'm going to set those right in there. Maybe I should. So what I'm going to show you is, so these are just regular old ceramic tiles. Let's see, I'm going to put that one right there so you can see. Yeah, I'm gonna lots of interesting facts on silicone today, but we're not gonna get super in depth. Kind of just beginner, intermediate silicone stuff, and then later on in about because I'm gonna do every Wednesday a lesson. So next week, what should I do? Next week, I couldn't decide if we should do like flip cup technique, like start on actual techniques each of the lessons, or I could do, I think we need to do one coming up on like lingo, like actual words used, commonly used phrases, commonly used words, just to kind of explain what exactly are cells, what exactly, kind of explain the silicone, the pouring medium, a few things already. But so let me know what you would like to see. Would you like to see get on to like techniques and do like flip cup all next week? Or would you like to hear more like lingo and like kind of commonly used words in the pouring community? Let me know what you would like to see. Okay, so first do, I'm going to show, what I've got here, I'll show you the colors real quick that I'm using today. Let me move these out of the way and we'll show you the beautiful colors we're going to be using today. None of these have silicone yet. So it's kind of peacock colors is what they kind of reminded me of. So we have titanium white, and that's just from the cheap paint. These are all mixed just in the same consistency like last week's lesson. So now you can kind of see what we're working with here. So I'll go through the colors. We have, these are Master's Touch. They're from Hobby Lobby. So we have bright green, and they're all mixed with Floetrol. Turquoise green. Oh, get it up there, right? Turquoise green. This is a gorgeous turquoise color. Then we have another turquoise, and it is the cheap paints turquoise. These are my favorite paint pouring brand. And the titanium white of the cheap pan. Then we have another Master's Touch, and it's the Viridian. Then we have the ultramarine blue of the Master's Touch. And then we have the violet of the Master's Touch. But I also wanted a little bit lighter of a purple, so I put half and half of the titanium white and the violet to make a lighter purple. So those are the colors we have today, and they're all mixed with Floetrol. 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, and then just like maybe a teaspoon or so water in each one. So they're all the same consistency. So last week we went over all that consistency for the paint. So right now, none of them have silicone. So first I'm going to do a real quick pour with no silicone. So I've got these little, they look like a solo cup. They're from the Dollar Tree. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I was wondering if I was, explaining, because sometimes, when you already know a subject, you forget, you just say these words and then you forget. Maybe the people don't even know what that means, what you're saying, but as long as I'm covering it, always ask questions too. I try to pay attention to the chat, and so if I see any questions pop up, so always let me know if you see questions. So I just reuse my cups over and over again, and then if it gets too thick, you can peel that out and reuse them over and over again. But these are hefty brand, and they're reusable. They're from Dollar Tree. So right now we're going to do a flip cup, or no, maybe we'll do a dirty pour. We're going to do a dirty pour, and we're not going to put silicone. I'm going to show you something here. So let's just, I'm going to layer some colors randomly in here. And in a later lesson, we'll talk about more like layering the colors and the different densities of the paint. And we'll get into that further kind of a little bit another time. That's a little bit more advanced. Right now, we're just beginner stuff. So right now, I'm just layering them in there, and I'm going to do a flip cup on the 6 by 6 inch tile. So next week, we could discuss flip cup technique. You don't need too much paint for this size of a tile, but kind of peacock colors. That's what I was kind of thinking. And so when you're pouring your paint in, just real quick tip, You could just pour it in real close down. You're going to get it more of a layered. You can bring up your cup a little bit higher, higher, higher. And then when the stream gets up higher, it's going to push down through a little bit more too. It's depending on what look you want and what colors you're working with. If the colors don't mix, just don't play well together, you probably don't want to bring it way up, up, up and get it mixing. You want layers if they don't play well together. But these colors all play really well together. So we're going to just do a flip cup again with no silicone. I'm going to show you what we're going to do to use that CRC here after we do the pour, after you can pour it on. I'll show you first the CRC and a few ways you can use it. All right, just flip it. And so you'll notice I'm getting quite a few cells. And what that is it's because I use Floetrol as a pouring medium. You will get quite a few cells with certain color combinations and stuff without even having to use any sort of silicone. And that's because of Floetrol. If you're not looking to get cells, I would use maybe like Liquitex pouring medium or a different one, because you're automatically going to get cells if you use Floetrol. But just getting it all to the edge of each edge, each corner. I put it on L. I should bring it a little bit more this way. And this is just using the cheap paints, the Master's Touch paints. They're a little bit easier to achieve cells with a medium body paint than the craft paints without silicone. All right, there we go. There's a without silicone flip cup. Let me wipe my hands. And that's gorgeous. Sometimes I would just leave it there. But I'm going to show you something. Let me move my paints, though, because we'll get it. If we spray that, it'll leap into these paints. It'll just be in the air. So let me get those all moved a bit. And I was going to do a dirty pour, but that's okay. Flip cup looked beautiful, too. We're going to do some dirty pours, some flip cups, and some swipes. Okay, so I got those kind of moved back, hopefully enough. So we've got the CRC aerosol kind of silicone. Just a second. Sorry. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it. I'm probably about, I don't know, 6 inches above, and as little as you can possibly get. I mean, you're going to barely touch it and spray. And you're going to, what this is going to create is tons and tons and thousands of little itty bitty cells. So certain pores, that's going to be too busy, too much. And then certain times you maybe want that look of little itty bitty cells. So I'm going to just show you real quick how you can spray on an already pour just to get tons of cells. But just, I mean, as little as you can possibly spray. Let's see if that's, yeah, that's plenty. And so you'll see them hopping up here. Let it kind of get out of the air. I don't ever want to, I'm always nervous to torch right after spraying that stuff. So I just kind of wait a moment. And then I'll give it a torch. But so this one's kind of interesting. Little tiny, it gives a total different look for the cells. Now I've just got a regular torch and I am not getting it right. I'm like a few inches up above. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit closer look for that. And that's a total different look for cells. It's a real kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, like freckles almost. It's hard to get it without the glare. But almost give it like a freckle look. Is that picking it up well, Mike? I don't want to drip in the others, but so I do have a couple videos on that, on different ways to do this one. But remember, you don't want any other pores around you when you do that. That's why I kind of did that one first. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and move this one. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We'll move this one aside, and I'm going to use that CRC in a different way. Kind of peek at it and make sure I have all the sides covered, which I did. All right. So now we can get the other ones out. Now we can get these back out. But what I'm going to do is I've got a clean cup. Now, this technique, you probably want a clean cup. But I'm going to kind of I'm going to pull it over here. I don't think you guys will be able to, or maybe I'll pull it over here and do it. I'm going to spray some directly in this empty cup, and we're going to see how that works. So what I usually do is I spray it in there, and then I kind of just wipe it around the inside. So, okay, we have some. Let's put that right back. That was pretty good right there. So now we have some right directly in there. We're going to do, I guess we'll just keep going with those same colors. And then in just a minute, I'm going to show you mixing the silicone into the colors. And that's the traditional way everyone does, is mixes it in their colors. But this, I was just showing you a couple different ways. You can mix, you can pour it directly on top of the pour. You can put it in the cup and kind of wipe it around in the cup. And you can do that with these other ones too. You can put it in the cup. But in a minute, we're going to put those in the paint and try it that way. So again, just layering them in there. But yeah, the CRC does create smaller cells. And then on the silicone oil, you can actually achieve kind of the smaller cells or the bigger cells. And I'll show you how you can achieve both those with getting quite a height there, trying to get it to. Okay, so now we're going to do a flip cup, and we're going to see how many cells we achieve where we just put the silicone on the cup itself. Hey, Mr. Doughboy, how are you doing? So again, just a 6x6 ceramic tile and a cat hair. Let me get that off there. Cats, they get hair everywhere. So all right, let's go ahead, flip that cup, and notice I'm just going to the side. So tons and tons of little cells. That's what you're going to achieve with that CRC. If that's, sometimes that might be too busy on maybe a larger piece, but the smaller, like a tile, it doesn't look quite as busy. But you're going to get a lot smaller cells with that silicone. And that's an aerosol silicone. Can't decide which direction I want to go. And then we'll torch this one and see if we get any more popping up. It looks like the purple is trying to kind of pop up through there, through some cells. We'll see if we can bring any more. I think we'll be able to bring some purple cells up is what it looks like. Just get it to all the edges. And so we're going to see a lot of different, like, kind of types of cells here today with the different types of silicone. Oh, the Mad Lib games. I don't know. I should do those again. We used to do some Mad Lib, the Mad Lib old games. Those are fun. I hadn't really thought about it. Just been so busy. Super busy. So I'll think about that. I don't know. Did you like that? Would you like to do Mad Libs again? I'm not sure. So you can see it's getting purple cells popping up through us, but let's see if we can pop some bubbles. All you're doing is kind of popping any bubbles, kind of changing the surface tension to kind of bring the silicone up to the surface if you have any silicone trying to. That's what this torch does, is pops the bubbles and kind of messes with the surface tension to bring that silicone to the surface. So really not too much. But what I've noticed with this, with the CRC directly into your cup, it'll keep popping up for like a little while. So in about a half hour, there may be even more cells on this one. So. Oh, a blood infection from a burn on your finger. Oh, no good. But it sounds like you said just got over it. So glad to hear that was getting better. Did you burn on your finger from your coins? How did you burn your finger, if you don't mind me asking? Was it from Mr. Doughboy does some amazing work shaping coins into different things, tea kettle and cowboy hats and things like that. So never been so sick in your life. Oh, I can't imagine. Oh, I'm glad you're on the mend. Yes, just like Mike said. Let me give you a little bit. You can kind of see the lacing as well. And then now we're getting some purple cells popping up through. And they will pop up a little more over the next few minutes. We'll set this one off to the side and you can kind of probably out of the corner. Now, let me see. I've got to, see, I just dipped in the cup because I got to get that edge where I touched it. There you go. So, all right. So now I want to show a couple of the others. So we've sprayed it directly on the pour. We've sprayed it in a cup. So you can also, but I'm not going to, because this is going to end up super, super long and we'll do like 20 pours. What you can also do is just like the traditional way, pour a little bit. Some people take this and take it outside and spray it in a little bottle and like a dropper bottle. And then they have just the liquid to take little drops out. And they can put just a drop at a time of just the liquid after they've sprayed it. But I've just got it here in the aerosol. So I'm going to set this aside. We're done using this one. Now I'm going to show you some of the other ones. And so this creates a lot small. So this is a great one if you're wanting that. But honestly, my favorite is the treadmill oil. And we'll do that one in just a minute. Oh, food. Oh, okay. Yeah, burns are scary. Oh, I'm glad you're on the mend. So we have another 6x6-inch tile. Welcome, Karen. We're just going over some different silicone for fluid acrylics. So what we are going to do now, guys, is we're actually going to put some silicone in some of these paints now. But we're going to compare a bunch of them. So we got a bunch of these cups that we're going to pour. What I like to do is I like to get my darkest couple colors and I put my silicone. I only pick a couple of the colors and I put it in the darkest of the colors. So we're going to put a little bit of this turquoise green from Master's Touch right there in that cup. And that's where we're going to put the silicone instead of putting, then we still have some that's not contaminated with silicone. We'll have this set aside to use also. But we're going to put silicone in that one, and we're going to also put silicone in this violet. So I picked the darkest two. I've noticed I just get the best cells when I only do, oh, you're welcome, you're welcome. I love to share my whatever I've learned. And I mean, I've just learned this by trial and error. You just got to practice, practice, practice. And that's how I've learned all this. So I figure I might as well, with all my trial and error, share with you guys. So yeah, Eastern Washington. Yeah, we're in Southwest Washington. So, okay, now we've got these two. They don't have silicone yet. What we're going to try this time is we're going to try we've gotten a little bit of purple on that. It's been cold in Washington, not as cold as some parts of the country, but it's been kind of cold in Washington, hasn't it, for the last week or so. It's okay. We've got the OGX brand coconut milk anti-breakage serum. Get it at Walmart. We're just going to put literally, we're going to try to not do a whole pump. We're going to try to get as little as possible because these are small amounts of paint. Less is more with silicone. So just a little bit. Okay. There, we managed to get one drop. Sometimes these pumps want to give you more than you want, and then sometimes they want to give you just a drop. So that was perfect. One pump seemed to give me a drop. But okay, so we have a drop in each. So there's different theories on this. Some people then don't mix it at all. Some people thoroughly mix it. Some people mix it just a little bit. Just try and see what works best for you for whatever technique, whatever look you're trying to achieve. But I actually mix it kind of medium. I don't know. I mix it a fair amount, I guess. So I've used that side. I'm just going to turn it over and use this side. Reuse your popsicle sticks. Reuse your cups. Reuse all that. Now I can set this aside, let it dry, and use this over and over and over again. So I'm just going to set that aside and mix both silicone in those two colors. Should we just continue with flip cups, or maybe we'll do a dirty pour? Sorry, guys. Let me grab a quick drink real quick. And are you guys noticing quite a few more little the cells of, and these cells are kind of just, they pop up and kind of randomly. It's kind of funny with the silicone we had used, that last silicone. A dirty part. Okay, awesome. We will. We are going to just fill this cup up with some of these colors, and we're going to use these ones with the coconut hair serum in there. So we've got some of that lighter color that we had mixed up from just the white and the violet. A little bit of that violet with the, and that's dimethicone, but you can use dimethicone or silicone. So we're using kind of alternating some of the colors that have the silicone, some of the colors that don't have the silicone. And that's what I like to do to give a good variety of cells and not like overdo it. I couldn't remember if I've used that color yet. And then a little bit of the green. Okay, we're going to do a diagonal pour. Stand back about 10 feet and throw the cup of paint. You know, I thought about that like outside during the summer. So you can kind of see cells popping up a little bit in there already. Glare of the lights, it's hard to, we're going to randomly. All right, now let's tip that around and see what we get. You can already see. There's a few different pours I want to do that are of the messier variety, but we'll have to do them during the summer. But I'm actually thinking about, or not thinking about, we've already been talking about it, Mike and I. We're going to build a like table to spin some pours and not get such a mess. Sorry, I should turn it where you guys can see it the better. Make sure you get your edges. So with this one, what I'm going to do is I need just a little bit more paint down here. So I'm going to grab the cup, and it's kind of got a little bit more in there. Get it there at the edge and it'll pull that to the side. All right, let me wipe my hands just a little bit. Get slippery after a minute. And then we'll give it a torch and see what we get. This is with the coconut hair serum. And you can always use your fingers to kind of help it down there. All right, now I'm going to pull kind of back to the center a little bit. Don't want to drip in my other paints as well. Okay, let's wipe my hands and give it a little torch. Yeah, we don't have a second floor. We have a one-story house, but I'm sure I could figure it out. There's a few different things. I thought about also getting like cheapo, just very cheap water guns in the summer and getting a couple of different colors in different water guns and doing it that way. There's a few water balloons, throwing water balloons of paint at the, but those are all kind of messier for summer. So, all right. So that is with the coconut hair serum. This is kind of mermaidy colors. I was kind of thinking peacock when I mixed them up, but this pour reminds me more maybe mermaid than peacock. But really, it works both ways, peacock or mermaid. But what I like about the coconut hair serum is you kind of get they're kind of more organic cells. They're not like these perfectly round cells. And sometimes when you're going maybe like an abstract landscape, it looks really nice to have kind of these random cool cells. Add a little comedy too. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let me wipe my hands. They're getting sticky. I just reuse my gloves as well. If you can't tell, I'm very into reuse, reuse, reuse. Please reuse your supplies. This art can make a lot of garbage. But you can be very conscious of that and reuse things and not, not create as much garbage. So, Whimsy Creek drops, yeah. Yeah, we could get the paint tarps out and definitely. All right, so those are with the, now what I want to do is I want to do a swipe, but with the coconut hair serum, the same colors. But what we're going to do is I'm going to put white. This has no silicone. Same mix, just as the same with the Floetrol. So we're just getting a white base layer down. Quite a bit of white. I probably didn't need quite that much white. But I have a silicone mat down, so if anything, any drips or anything, I can peel those off. And I've been having a lot of fun with those drips. And so I'll have a video coming up with some of the ideas of what I do with my drips. You can make jewelry, you can make other art, all kinds of things. So, all right, so got the white all spread out just with a palette knife. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put, you don't want too much. You don't really need that much. So what we're going to do is try to get just a little bit of each of the colors down off the popsicle stick. If I just poured it, it would probably give me just too much paint. So we're just going to get it right off the popsicle stick, and we're going to just do a swipe diagonally through the center with our palette knife. And again, just using these two have the silicone. Just a second, and we'll get the ones with silicone on there. So, all right, let's put a little bit, let's get a popsicle stick. So this one has silicone, and then the purple has the silicone. And that's it. So this would be a great one with the swipe to do a spun. but I cannot spin this right now because I'd make a mess. But we're going to be building a whole kind of table, kind of corral, if you want to say, to do a spin art and not make a big mess. So, all right, now we have the two colors that have the coconut hair serum. Set that down, grab the palette knife. Still has some white on it, that's all right. Now we're going to swipe this kind of just across here, just real gently. This is the same technique I did last night, a Mardi Gras kind of themed pour. So, all right, now we're going to kind of stretch those out, but that's with the coconut hair serum. You get a nice kind of subtle. So, all right. So you could just leave that, be done with it. Or what I like to do is I like to take the aquarium tubing. I'm going to blow this. Take a couple breaths and then I'll do the other side. But I like to just kind of break up the edge a little bit, blow out some of the edge. And I like to use the aquarium tubing for that. All right. We could give it a torch, but it probably won't do. Yeah, didn't really change it much, kept it. And that's what I was kind of expecting. Already the cells were already popped up that were going to pop up. So there is a swipe using the coconut hair serum. Just using a drop in each of the two, the darkest purple and the turquoise green. So that's the coconut hair serum. Now we're going to use the Artist Loft. And so that's actually a new one for me. I have never used the Artist Loft. Where is it? Where is that? Oh, there it is. Sorry, guys. Terrible noise there. The ceramic tiles. All right, so now we're just grabbing this one up. Last 6x6, and then we're going to switch to just some of the 4x4 tiles that I've got. So as you can see, there's still a few cells popping up with this one. This one, oh, that one's my favorite so far. And so, all right, so now we're going to grab a couple more of these little cups. And we're going to do another dirty pour, but let's put, you know what, the same two colors. We're going to use the darker purple and the Viridian. Or no, this one was turquoise green by Master's Touch. We're just putting a little bit in each. So I have not actually used this yet. This is a new one for me. This is from Michael's, the Artist Loft. Let's see what it says. 100% pure silicone oil. So it's just 100%. It should be the same exact thing as this or this. They're both 100% pure silicone oil. So I went online and I found there was like 10 different brands that made pouring oil and just different, but it's all just 100% silicone oil. So I thought we'd grab one and we would test it out, but really they should be the same. So we'll see. That's why I didn't buy more that were just 100% silicone oil. I mean, they're all the same, it should be. Does it say how much on here? I use very, very little. Okay, add a few drops of silicone into acrylic paint mixed with pouring medium to create cells. 100% pure silicone oil is archival quality. So that's another thing we can talk about too. This one, probably not archival quality. And some people would argue that any silicone oil is not archival quality. But I don't know. I think it would, When you say archival, are you wanting your stuff to last 1,000 years, 100 years? I mean, how long are you wanting your art to really last? I would say, you know, at least 100 years for if you're using 100% silicone oil and you're wiping the surface off very well before you're going to varnish. And we'll get into that. And I do have videos about wiping your surface off. But if you're using the one like the CRC oil, that aerosol, that's got other stuff in it. It's not 100%. If you're going to use the coconut milk, that's not 100%. This one here says it's archival, and it's 100% silicone oil. So it says a few drops, but I use very little. So let's use, what's a few? 3? Let's put 3 drops. We have very little paint here too. I've never used this one, so let's see. I like that it's in a like a dropper. You take it out and drop. That's nice. I like that. Seems a little thinner than my spot on, but it's should be the same thing, 100% silicone oil. So let's give that a tiny little stir. So I think today it's going to be a little bit longer of a live stream, not too. So let me know if we have any questions. So, all right. So now let me set those down here. Up. That's that nice, bright, springy green. Is it buffering? It doesn't give me any sort. Usually maybe it'll say like lost connection, but I'm not seeing any sort of. Okay, so sorry about that. Knock on wood, we've had good luck with that. Hopefully that wasn't a sign. So we're just layering the colors in here. And only put the silicone, that Artist Loft silicone, in the 2 colors. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here too. So what I like to do, so I'm going to, because last time I felt like I had just under what I really, the amount. What I like to do is I like to take my popsicle stick. Longer is great. Oh, just grabbed another. Oh, you're taking notes. Awesome. All right. Let me know if you have a question. Okay, so I'm just going to not just stir this because that would just make mud in there. I'm going to literally just do kind of a figure 8 somewhat. That's it. Just giving it a little bit of a, you can do that. You can just leave it. It just depends on how you want to layer it in there. I'm seeing a little bit of blue even popping up through those purple cells. So that one continues to move and make cells even afterwards. So we're going to do another just diagonal. Get rid of the cat hair. I got 2 kitties. What kind of pets do you guys have? Do you guys have any sort of pets? We have 2 long-haired kitties that make lots of mess with their hair. So please excuse if you ever see little peaks of their hair. It's hard to keep them. I keep them out of kind of my art area, though. That helps a lot. But they have the roam of the rest of the house. All right, so let's. Few subtle cells so far, but this is before the torch. And you can, that's another thing, and we'll get into the different techniques, flip cup, dirty pour. You can torch it right after doing a flip cup before you tilt. You can torch it after you've tilted, and that'll create different cells. But we'll do dirty pour, or what, okay, let me ask you this. Next week, would you like to learn about dirty pours or flip cups? And the reason those 2 techniques are, you know, the ones I'm asking about first, is I would say those are 2 of the easiest beginner techniques, a flip cup or a dirty pour. And regardless, we'll do the following week, we'll do whichever one we don't do next week. So which one should we do first and which one should we do the following week? You have little dogs? Yeah. We want to get a dog eventually. It would be nice. adding their little touch. Oh, yes, we've had the cats out. Well, one of our cats added their little touch. And surprisingly, luckily, this has only happened, I think, twice. But the first time it was a big, huge 24 by 30 painting that I had done in black and a bunch of neons. And the cat in the night walked on it, then walked on the couch, then walked. You could tell where she sat and like licked herself or something. But in the night, she had walked on a painting. And of course, it had to be a black background. So we've had, and then she did it. I think she got her tail in another one. I can't remember. It wasn't as disastrous. It wasn't as memorable as the one. So, all right. I've never used this. I honestly not too impressed so far. I mean, you got some nice subtle cells, but it's weird because it's 100% silicone. It should work just like my treadmill oil. But I have always used the let me see. This one doesn't look like it's on there, although because it looks like it's almost trying to slide off on us. But anyways, I'm not too impressed with the Artist Loft. I don't know about that one. Let's do one more technique with the Artist Loft and see. But so, all right, I got the edge of that. It's hard to move those without getting the edge a little bit. But all right, let me grab a tile now. It's going to be a 4 by 4. So we've got smaller tiles now. And the tiles are great if you're just going to experiment, work with some new techniques. If you're going to kind of compare some new products, that works great. So we've got the Artist Loft. We've got this purple. I'm just going to use that cup. And we're going to let's do a flip cup. And let's see with the Artist Loft oil. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. A macaw, that'd be an African gray. Oh, you've got some amazing birds. That's awesome. I've always wanted some birds. And a Great Pyrenees. Oh, awesome. Very nice. That would be such beautiful birds. I want to do a parrot-inspired pour. That would be, a lot of them have been kind of parrot colors, parrot-inspired, macaw-inspired. That would be awesome. So we've poured it. We had the purple that had the silicone oil. Now we poured this one that had the silicone oil. Now we're going to do a flip cup. We don't need much paint, really. We've got plenty here. A little bit of this, and then this is only a 4 by 4 inch tile. Yes, artistic cat. Oh, bet the birds can get loud. Yes, I bet. But, oh, beautiful. I bet you it's awesome. I love birds. But our kitties they don't really mix well, so we don't have birds, probably mainly because of the kitties. But I also would love to get a tortoise someday, too. But I love animals. I'd love to get all kinds of animals, but we don't have room, honestly. So, all right, let's flip cup this one and see what we get. Ooh, let me move my hand. Okay, the Artist Loft did way better cells in a flip cup. And we have way more paint than we need here. I am going to I was thinking about doing a chart. A lot of people have them. Mixed Media Girl has a great chart on how much paint for each paint pour. But I was thinking about figuring out my own little chart, or I might just link to other people's and give them credit because they've done amazing charts on how much paint is needed for each size of canvas or size of project you are doing. All right, wiping these gloves off. I'm half tempted not to torch that. You don't always have to torch. If you do see a lot of air bubbles, you probably want to torch that because it'll dry with little pinholes in it. But if you don't see many air bubbles, and a way to not have as many air bubbles is mix your paint up ahead of time. Because then all the air bubbles will rise to the surface and then they hopefully will pop. If you mix your paint right prior to pouring, you're going to have some air bubbles. So that would be the only reason you have to torch. But then sometimes you're wanting more cells, so you want to torch. So It's beautiful as is. Honestly, I'd probably leave it, but I'm going to torch it just for experiments. Lots of hair and lots of feathers. Oh, I bet. But such fun. Such awesome animals. Well, all right. Not much of a difference. It already had quite a bit of cell action prior to torching. But honestly, so that's both with the Artist Loft. Dirty Pour, we didn't get much cells at all. And that can also go with how I layered my paint too. You layer your paint, and we'll get into that in a later lesson that's a little more advanced, but that also makes a big difference. The type of cells, the way your cells will hold up, how you layer your paint, but that's more advanced. You can just, we'll talk, I just layered them randomly and I still got beautiful cells, but if you're trying certain looks, certain cells in certain areas, you can achieve that, but that's more advanced. No toucher there, pizza. Oh, good. Good kitties. All right. I'm going to get this one moved out of the way. Grab another 4x4-inch tile. And then we are going to do with the treadmill oil. That one sure turned out pretty. I first said I'm not impressed with the Artist Loft, but maybe that's one that works better with certain techniques because it was pretty with the flip cup. All right, another just 4x4-inch tile. Now let's put, I guess we'll go the same colors. Get a little bit more of that purple. I'm going to get a little extra this time because we're going to do a few different techniques. Because this is honestly my favorite pouring medium. I'll show you. All right, so that is the spot on treadmill oil. And we're going to put 1 drop in. It was about 1.5. They were kind of 2 small drops. It's hard to, I want to check out that precision one. That might get better. And there's other techniques with applying silicone oil. There's something called a Chameleon Technique. Now, has anybody done a Chameleon Technique? Are you familiar with that? And that's applying little drops of silicone straight onto the surface. I've done that, and that looks beautiful when wet. I have not gotten the Chameleon Technique to work very well when dry. Honestly, it messes up the surface for me. I haven't gotten it to work, but wondering if anybody else has had success with a dried Chameleon Technique. So, all right. Now let's do, I better get that out of the way or I'm going to forget which one is which. Those are our 2 with the silicone oil. We need to grab another cup here. All right. We're just going to reuse. We're going to do I guess we'll start off with a dirty pour. Way more turquoises than I need. It's going to be a lot of turquoise. Way more paint than I need, but the drippage I'll be turning that into something. Don't worry, I'm not going to waste that. So here's ours with silicone oil. And we better get a little of that green. All right. Oh, yeah, that one creates more of a subtle, you like that one the best? Awesome. Well, thank you. And everyone, you never know. Sometimes I like total opposite ones than like other people, or I'll ask Mike which Mike the Greek, is my husband. So I'll ask him, what do you think of this one? And the ones I hate, he loves, and you never know. This one so far is my favorite so far. But no, we didn't. I did not see like the canvas through. It did not show the canvas through. It just the surface, all that oil sitting there. It dried like it made it made a rough surface. It wasn't a nice smooth surface. So I didn't like that. So, all right, we're going to use the same, I'm trying to decide, flip cup, or we'll do dirty pour and then we'll do a flip cup. So this is again with the treadmill oil. And we're just going again, diagonal, random, way more paint than we need, but that's okay. And then we'll do another one. It's a 4x4 inch tile, so but we'll do another one of that where I swipe it and then I blow the edges. Which you can just blow the edges. You don't need to swipe it. You can do it swipe and just leave it, or you can do it like I did, swipe and blow the edges. It's just whatever look you're going for. And then these are all mixed with treadmill oil. So when you mix some of these, like the apple barrel, will create different cells with different, it's just all reacts differently. But this is how all these silicones react with Floetrol. All right, wiping my hands off and then we'll give that a torch. But I kind of like the feathery look. We'll torch it. We don't always have to torch, of course. All right. Move that one kind of off over here. Get it where it won't drip on the edge. That other one. There we go. We're going to do probably two more. I'll do now a flip cup and then one of those swipes. So we got, again, 4x4 inch tile. We're getting some beautiful drips there that'll make some beautiful pendants or something. So, all right, let's do a flip cup. God, that's really pretty in there. We got way more paint. I'm going to have to, what I'll do is I'll pour this on some very small tiles, some 2x2 inch tiles. After I'm all done, I'll make some magnets is what I make with those. So, all right. Let's do a flip cup. And we've got, these are just off of Amazon. They're just a little like medicine cup. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get a little less of each color. So then maybe I can even get double up here. 2 layers of each color maybe. But and again, that turquoise green and this purple have the silicone oil in them. Just a little. Less is more. Less is more with the silicone, but you want plenty of, you learn exactly how much paint you need for each technique, for each size of canvas. So we're just getting a second layer here of a couple of the colors, probably not all of them. Now let's flip that. So next week, shall we do flip cup or dirty pour? You just want to gently move it to the edge, kind of a little bit back to the center, onto the next edge. And we'll give this one a torch. See what happens. Now you can touch the whole surface. You can maybe like want rivers of cells, kind of, I would call it, if you just want to torch like through certain areas. Just depends on what the look you are going for. But the cells pop up a little bit easier. And then you can always go back and see if up to probably 10, 20 minutes. I mean, I probably kind of almost too long waiting to torch, but it's right at they're still pretty wet, very wet. But and it takes about, on these tiles, it'll take probably about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks, especially during the winter. And everywhere is different. It depends on how much humidity you have. It depends on how hot, how cold your area is. During the summer, with it a little bit hotter, it maybe take about 2 weeks, but closer to 3 weeks with winter, I would say. So, all right, now we're going to do one more. Can you see if it, yeah, it's right. If I just, sorry guys, shake you up just a little bit. I'm going to put one here. All right, last one, guys. We're going to do another swipe. We're going to put white down on the surface. Okay, I'm going to wipe off my palette knife, get a nice clean surface to wipe that white around. What is everyone's favorite technique? What is your favorite technique? Honestly, I would honestly say a swipe is my favorite technique. And I swipe sometimes with a palette knife. I swipe sometimes with my finger. I swipe sometimes with paper towel, with saran wrap, with pieces of like cardstock, photo paper. I've swiped with so many different things. But so all right, we're gonna put, again, we're just gonna use off the end of our popsicle stick because we don't want too much, especially this is just the smaller tile. This is a very small tile, so you don't need much, but if I was using a larger canvas, I could also blow with the world's smallest leaf blower. I've done videos on that, but I am almost at 3,000 subscribers. And what I'm going to do is I've gotten a brand new one off of Amazon, and I'm going to be giving away one of those world's smallest leaf blowers here coming up real soon. And so when I get to 3,000 subscribers, I will announce that. So here again, this is the one with the two. We have two with silicone, but this turquoise green has the treadmill oil. Then this purple has the treadmill oil. You definitely swipes. Me too. They're so versatile. And I like that a swipe, I can get like lacing. I can get small cells. I can get pretty large cells. And now I've been experimenting with doing like a swipe and spinning it out. And it's just such a versatile. You can really get achieve lots of different looks. And I feel like you have a little bit more control over it as well. But so many different, depends on the look you're going for. So, all right, I'm just going to delicately swipe across this surface. I kind of almost, I thought about going in and swiping a little bit more, but I think I'm going to leave that. So that's with the treadmill oil, only in the two colors. Now, if you have a cake spinner and you spin this on a cake spinner, you'll get a more even. See, if I tilt it, you're going to not get such an even cells distribution. But if you were to spin it, you get some beautiful even cells popping up. This would also look gorgeous on other colored backgrounds. You do not have to have a white background. You can do any color background. And then you can also, so I usually have my colors, you know, mixed up in my bottles. Now, I do not put silicone, except for I have a couple and I have them marked that I have silicone in them. Otherwise, you can't take the silicone out. You can only always add to. So what I do, if I'm going to want silicone, I'm going to put it in a smaller container, put silicone in that, and not get, because there's a lot of techniques you may not want silicone. You don't always want silicone. So I always add it just to each of the pores I want the silicone in. I don't put silicone in my bottles. And that's just preference. You totally can. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I know that they're not in a way contaminated with silicone. And then I just do a smaller amount with the silicone. So, all right, this looks like quite the mess. But we have compared a whole bunch of different silicones. And there are tons and tons of different silicones on the market. But honestly, if they're 100% silicone, they're probably very similar. If you see, this one have the treadmill oil, this one have the artist loft. Same color, same technique, very, very similar because it's 100% silicone. It's going to give you the same. But so there is a swipe down the middle, and you can do a swipe with all the colors. There's many ways of doing swipes. I think next week we'll do flip cup. And I'll give you like the different techniques like flip and drag, flip cup with negative space, flip cup where it's the whole surface. So we'll do several different flip cups. We'll do flip cups with different, I'm going to sneeze, sorry. I feel like a sneeze is coming, but it just, you know, when you feel like you're going to sneeze, but it just won't happen. But I thought, oh, here it is. But no, it tricked me. It's not, I'm not going to sneeze. Maybe in a moment. But anyways, you can, we're going to use flip cups in different color techniques with silicone, without silicone. I'm going to give a few tips and tricks with flip cups. But I think that's what we'll do next week is we'll do flip cups. The following week, we'll do dirty pours. And then the following week, I think we'll do swipes. So in 3 weeks, we'll do swipes. I can't wait to do that one. That one's my favorite. And I've kind of coined the term whimsy swipe, and I'll show you what I kind of call a whimsy swipe. It's a little bit different of a swipe. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. So I have a couple of favorites. And I have had to move a couple off to the side, so they're not all on camera here either. But this last one, it's one of my favorites, and then I keep going back to that one. That one's very pretty too. And I did adjust the camera, so a couple of them aren't, you can't see them quite right on camera. So, oh good, that sounds fun. All right. So, a little bit longer of a live stream today. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll give you a moment to ask any questions. Otherwise, I will probably be getting off here. But I will be back live next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And so I'll go live every Wednesday at 2 o'clock for the next 7 or 8 weeks. It'll be kind of themed topics of lessons. You know, we've done the silicone oil, we've done the pouring medium, the supplies. We will get to doing a lingo one, but we'll just work our way through different techniques for a while. Then we'll get a little bit more advanced. We'll talk about color theory, a bunch of different stuff. And then we'll see. I'll continue the live streams after that, you know, once we are done. But we'll probably start maybe a different series after that or something. But so, yeah. And then I do within the next week have lots of videos planned. A beautiful spiral, I'm getting my words on. I gotta slow down. Spiral reverse dip flower pour, and that I get inspiration off of Fiona's channel. So yeah, I've got that video coming out and a couple others here within the next few days. And then we'll be live next week on Wednesday again. So, all right, I'm not seeing any questions. Yes, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you do think of a question later on, you can always comment in the comments question or ask in a community post or wherever. I'll see comments. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Etsy. I'm on Twitter. Most of those, I think of the links are in the front page of my channel and then also in the About Me section. So you can contact me on any of those and ask any of the questions about paint pouring or fluid acrylics or certain techniques or whatever. So, all right, guys, have an awesome week. Oh, good. I'm glad it was informative. Good. So awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you and have a great week and be the change you want to see in the world. All right, guys, have a good one and thank you.